of. Okay, here is updated Anvil combo, Anviltron. This is a deck that we've played a lot of. It was actually like for Team CFB, a deck we were considering playing for the Pro Tour. A deck that like weirdly the ring was very bad for it. Is something that I kind of came to understand later. Where the ring being legal meant you couldn't just mill your opponents out with Grinding Station, which is your main win condition. Although you can Karn for win condition if your opponent like has an Emrakul in their deck. But also like when you had protection from yourself, you couldn't Grinding Station yourself, which is also really important. But if you haven't seen this deck before, the idea is they're trying to use Semblance Anvil as a powerful mana engine in combination with Mystic Forge to churn through your library and cast a bunch of artifacts. And these artifacts, Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere, Grinding Station, to a lesser extent Expedition Map, allow you to manipulate the top of your library to continue to churn through your deck here. You also have the mana creation from the Urza lands to help you do this, and you also now have Kozilek's Command as something that's a combination mana engine, card selection spell, removal spell, graveyard hate spell. Kozilek's Command certainly just does it all. I was trying to build this deck with Glaring Fleshraker for a long time. I do think Glaring Fleshraker is quite good, but I ended up finding that it's not as good of a mana engine as Semblance Anvil, because Semblance Anvil just does your combo with Double Me Retriever Grinding Station. Semblance Anvil is also like not a creature, so it doesn't die to removal. And I found myself for a long time trying to play both and just kind of disliking how many 3-mana mana engines there were in this deck when it felt a little bit extra. It turned on opponent's creature removal, which I didn't like as much, especially not when we didn't have like Precursor and like Breach to like replay them compared to the Eldrazi Breach deck. Still think Buried Ruin is better than Inventor's Fair because you sack your artifacts a lot. I think it's better than whatever the land is that you discard and look at top X Rex the number of artifacts you control. Yeah, also Opal. Probably should mention no Mox Opal in the stack. We just actually don't have 3 artifacts in play enough for Mox Opal to be good, weirdly enough. So weirdly enough, like this deck ended up like we're playing Rumble for the first. I think maybe we played Rumble in this deck before. I don't think I've come back to a long time. But we're not playing Opal and we're not playing Fleshraker. 2 cards I was trying to play in this deck for a long time, and I just really did not like either of them. Also, like Opal plus Anvil is just like it's a bit weird. Sometimes, like with Mystic Forge, you get to make a green for your stirrings, but you kind of already get to do that with stars and spheres anyways. Let me get this in the Mox field for y'all. It's a deck we used to play on the stream a lot. Well, I would mulligan this on the play. On the draw, I think I'm going to click the keep button. So I really want to play Anvil on turn 2, and then I want to play Mystic Forge on turn 3. I think I'm just going to pitch the Grinding Station to give myself the highest chance of being able to do that. Did I try Fleshrake in this deck? Welcome to the stream. You tuned in the last 30 seconds, potentially. Yes, I was trying that and Opal for a long time and decided the deck was optimal without both of those. Been working on this one for a bit. That's okay, Soggy. I just said it like 2 seconds ago, so I was just teasing. One of the only like non-Eldrazi Temple Kozilek's Command decks we've played, but like I do think that there are some reasons to not be an Eldrazi focused build of Tron. This deck is an example of that. But I think in your Tron decks that don't play Temple, K-Command is still an absurd card. I was even just thinking about this the other day. Like, if Kozilek's Command could just be played in any deck, like if it didn't have a casting requirement, like I would love to play the card in just like Jeskai Control. And I was also thinking about how to play it in Jeskai Control. Demon with the Twitch Prime, thank you so much. Welcome back. Looks like the Rumble is going to get counterspelled. Fair enough. And we did not find land number 3. Do we have, or should we have something so we don't insta lose to Collector Oof? We do have that. We actually have both of these things. Okay. So if we can draw a land for Semblance Anvil, this game is going to be great. This deck is going to look great. We're going to be really happy. If we don't draw the land, the deck's going to look bad, and everyone's going to, go turn on me again. Can you just play Painlands and Jeskai? I think you can't just play Painlands and Jeskai. But I was trying to theory craft more of like a Field of Ruin mana base with potentially like Mystic, the blue-white filter land too. So unfortunately deck is bad because we didn't find another land. What would you recommend running if a deck needed a second Rumble-like effect? Cash Grab, I guess. Same card, but at instant speed and you don't get a spawn. Tough to get a food token. So let's play our grinding station. Well, so I guess I need the grinding station to imprint to the anvil, actually. 4 Null Drifter, 4 Dust, plus Lab and Temple with non-counterspell permission. I was thinking of something along those lines. Yeah. You want to play Control with K Command, let me choose to the Blue Trim Management Consultancy Team. I'm a little confused where you're going with this joke, but maybe. No, we died in the challenge. We played the free starter Valakut deck. And there was no drama. Okay, so my opponent's going to have 7 plus 4. So I think I'm going to cycle the K command and try to find Urza's Tower. And if not, doesn't exactly seem like we were going to have a lot of time to play this K command anyways. So one thing is I do kind of feel that my opponent has a spell snare here a lot of the time. Do another one. So if I cast Rumble, I'm pretty likely to hit a land and still play the Semblance Anvil. I also have the really high upside of finding an Urza's Tower, and I could potentially combo off and win the game this turn. So I think I'm going to go for this. If they have Spell Snare, we could have played around it by just playing the Anvil, but it seems to me that I would rather take the high upside line in the game where I've been stumbling a lot. In general, I think this is what I prefer to do. Yeah, people play Trespasser. Trespasser is like, it is pretty good. It is pretty good. It's good against Flage. If it dies, it's a pretty relevant 2-for-1. I think Trespasser also weirdly got a lot better with the ring being banned, where nitty gritty 2-for-1s like this end up being pretty strong. Where games are more about incremental 2-for-1s instead of just, haha, I drew the ring. Anything you've built up doesn't matter anymore. I guess they have Force of Negation. Maybe they're lagging. Yeah, they do have Force of Negation, so I guess this ended up working out better overall. We're dead if this Manifest token is an Oculus, I think, but we do still have the out of drawing exactly Urza's Tower. It's a frog, so this can become 3 power. Sometimes it gets energy, they play a Flage, and then you play this, exile the Flage, and then they kill it with a removal spell, and they discard a card. So it's kind of like a 3-for-1. They keep both cards in their hand here. If they had a creature, they could have discarded it and exiled it to the Trespasser. Alright, to have any kind of chance, we have to draw Urza's Tower. And it does seem like my opponent's got more counter magic. Alright. So we get to be on the play for game 2. We get to bring in Veil of Summers. As far as sideboarding goes, we have a few different options. I think I'm going to cut the Gemstone Caverns on the play to just go down a land. It is pretty fine. I've even done as far as to cut the Beseiju in games like this, where there's basically nothing we could Beseiju for value, and we care more about Forest for Harbinger, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go quite that far. I think I'm going to trim 4th Expedition map, and then let's go 4th Rumble down. Thank you, Jarvis, for the raid. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. Yeah, they are still outside. I've been keeping an eye on them. Just fixing stock decks. Any big insights you want to share? I'm playing your Jessica Cure deck and paper. Anything you change? Would you keep 4 Forces and 2 Spell Pierce? I would not keep those. I think the Forces and Spell Pierce are not as good as they were when I was playing the deck. Not sure exactly how I would change it, though. If this gets consigned or pierced, it's going to be a win. Or a good exchange. Should have boarded it out. 3 Surveils and Dimir Froculus, total 21. Sounds nice. Tried 4 Bombardment, 4 Spire and Boros. That actually does sound pretty sick. Just loot the extra copies away. Pretty cool. I was also thinking you could play potentially some number of looting and Boros. If you play 4 Flage. Like, can you play 4 Phage, 2 Faithless looting? You might be able to. Alright, so we're going to cycle the Sphere, and then we'll just cast the Mirror Retriever. Although maybe we want to cast Grinding Station. Yeah, I think I like Grinding Station a bit more proactively, because it's more of a... it's better if we draw Semblance Anvil 1, but it also, I think, is a bit more likely to get countered, and we potentially want to try to start getting counter spells out of our opponent's hands. It is really important against these counterspell decks to get Tron going. Although if they Harbinger, you don't have Tron going, but you can also play without Tron pretty well. Kind of a strength of this deck. See if they have second force. Thankfully not. I guess I'm content to draw this basic forest. I found 12 fetches, 3 surveils, 4 flages, and energy a ton. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. You're also like just better in the mirror, and you're better against a mirror if you have 4 flage, which should probably just be enough argument by itself, I would think. I guess we did have map for forest, but now we can also map for power plant, and if we can get the Harbinger off the field, which won't be the easiest thing to do. Wait, why do I only have 3 power plants? Seems like I exiled one. I don't really remember doing that. I just exiled one to Forge, I see. Cycles and Unearth. So finding a card would be good. Obviously, Semblance Anvil would help us start to really pop off. There's a frog, 2 cards in their hand. Good chance that they have a counterspell also. We're going to take 1 from the Bowmasters. We're not going to live in fear. Upkeep stuff for the mind. Nah, I think it's better to clear from the top when you're going off with Forge. Like, we're just, like, so guaranteed to, we're so guaranteed to have something. Or to like, either have cards on top or brick. I think it's better to clear the bricks and keep going than to clear that first draw step. Okay, another counterspell. Okay, so we'll take Karn the Great Creator. Top card is a Mirror Retriever. Well, I was going to cast the Mirror Retriever from hand, but I guess from top of the library could be better. It's not actually deterministically going to be better here, because I may want to get Ensnaring Bridge going. Although if I can chump block with the Mirror Retriever, I can buy back Semblance Anvil or Grinding Station. We do have a janky Grinding Station on our board with Altar of Dementia to get the loop going. This is a Murktide? Well, I don't know why they're casting a Murktide here necessarily, because they just want to tell me they don't have Counterspell. Maybe they want to tell me they don't have Counterspell, but they have Consign. see they just don't want to attack into the Mere Retriever. Oh, I didn't update the deck list. Okay, let me... I thought I did. All right, let's clear from the top of our library with the Forge first.
We outside and play in the mud.
Yes, they do.
And then I have to wash Lucy's paws because she plays in the mud. And then she's like, no, I want to go back out.
Okay, so I can go Karn Bridge. Which, do I just die to Frog? So their Frog can be a 4-power creature that gets through the bridge. I block here. I take 7 and go to 1. Is that the win if they don't counter? It would be a win if I had a different artifact in my hand. Oh, which I guess I just can, because I can play the second Mere Retriever. Okay, wait. No, hold on. I think we're gonna go for the win here, but we have to get the win. If they have Consign or if they have Force, you know, it is what it is. Now I need to so the plan is going to be to sack the Mere Retriever to buy back the Semblance Anvil. Now and then you loop both Mere Retrievers when they cost 0 and you mill your opponent out. Now I think I should try to cast the star, and I should try to make sure that I can draw an artifact to imprint to the anvil that's not the Mere Retriever in my hand. So let's untap the let's clear the top of our library by sacking here. Then we untap. Then we sack the Mere Retriever to buy back the anvil. And again, this may just be all for naught if they have a consign. Which it does seem like they have the consign. I also, unfortunately, just have a Karn on top instead of finding an artifact to draw with the star. So maybe I should... I mean, I guess I would still lose to consign if I had taken the Karn for bridge line. So here's the sphere. I get pinged for 1, so we're just going to forget about consign for now. I can go cast sphere, and if there's another artifact underneath it, I win. If they don't have a counterspell. And they don't have the counterspell, so I think we can feel somewhat confident that we found the best line. And, you know, if we lose to Force of Negation, counterspell, spell snare, harbinger, consign, so be it. Okay. They didn't consign that. So that's a good start. Do you think Yiruso can be powerful with Benamo? I think that's a fun synergy. So this is kind of weird. I'm actually going to mill myself first here. Because my opponent's dead if they have nothing. Like, that's not going to change. But I have the potential to like mill over another Mere Retriever or something that's going to allow me to combo off some more. This Veil of Summer is kind of interesting too. Because this obviously this deck is complicated and convoluted, and they are not always going to understand what the hell is going on here. And they may not understand that they're dead. And so we can kind of just free roll that value to some... Where if we just ever see another Mere Retriever on top, okay, cool. Then we beat a consign. Finding line was crazy. We played this deck a lot. You start to get used to it. Just normal sequencing stuff. Do you think Hellraiser Boombust deck could be good? Maybe push pull as well. Maybe. I mean, I've been barking up that tree a little bit and been failing to figure it out. Maybe we should have the full 4 Veil of Summers. Not gonna be a huge difference between 3 and 4. Nice. Didn't seem like they had the consign. Okay, so let's bring in the Gemstone Caverns over the Besage on the draw. How did I like the Salvage Vine deck from a while ago? We had some like awesome turn ones, but it just isn't that consistent. But it was very fun. I think it's like a worse than Hollow one, probably. Altertron, I guess. You know, is this still the lone? No, I guess we have Kozilek's Command now. It used to be Alter was the only Modern Horizons card in the deck. Now we also have Rumble. Modern Horizons corrupting all of the all of the good decks. Is there any shell in your reckoning that would make Lodestone Golem modern playable? No, it's not modern playable. Gonna keep this. Interesting that they forced the Expedition map last game, but they Harbingered me. They probably drew the Harbinger. But we have 2 Expedition maps here, so we would not probably mind them forcing the first one so much. We do mind Harbinger a lot this game, if they have turn 3 Harbinger 2 games in a row. Is there something to Flesh Rakers with Mirror Retriever loops? No, there's not anything to Flesh Rakers with Mirror Retriever loops, in my opinion, where Mirror Retriever loops win the game by themselves, because you're looping them with a win condition. I tested Flesh Raker in this deck a lot, assuming that it would be correct. Assuming that a Flesh Raker would be like a correct addition to this deck. So far, it seems like that assumption is just wrong, and Flesh Raker is not actually optimal. I think my opponent has Unearth in their hand, the way they have Swamp and then they pause and they realize they can't unearth the Murktide. That's at least my read there. How do you win? So you make your Mirror Retrievers cost 0 mana with your Semblance Anvil, and you churn through your deck with Mystic Forge. And then your Mirror Retrievers cost 0, you play them for 0, sack to Grinding Station, return another Mirror Retriever, sack it to Grinding Station, and you mill your opponent out. Hopefully the dogs aren't too loud there. They're playing with each other. It's not a replacement for Grinding Station. Glaring Flesh Raker is not a replacement for Grinding Station because it doesn't sack your Mirror Retrievers. Alright, certainly seems like a spot where we should just hold up the K command. Wish the dogs would be louder good. It's really good for them to like play during this time too. They've been playing a lot more lately because the weather's just been so good outside. Remember the stupid Blossoming Tortoise combo? Yeah, apparently apparently Dingo played that deck a lot, which was really funny. I can't wait for Breach to be hated out. I hate playing Versatile on Green-White Ritual. Really? You have like main deck Thraben Charm, main deck Ranger Captain. Also like, I'm going to sideboard Orym's Chance. But yeah, maybe it's just not as good as I hope. I didn't want to upkeep this because if they played Harbinger, I wanted to be able to exile it. Would love a green source. Nice. I'm getting turn 4 comboed most games. Yeah, that seems like plenty of time for you to find Thraben Charm, Ranger Captain, but maybe not. Heartless Summoning could probably be a better Anvil. Not in this deck, where Anvil like discounts your Mystic Forge, and then when you have Anvil plus Mystic Forge, you get to just churn through your entire deck effectively. Pretty sure I'm getting Mystic Forge here, actually. With the intention of potentially getting Anvil next turn. So maybe I should play the Mirror Retriever now, so if my opponent has Orcish Bowmaster, they can't kill the card, but they can put it to 1. I don't know if I've ever seen a bigger delta between Spike's evaluation of a deck and the consensus on Green-White Ritual. Maybe. I'll say this. I've had some friends who are playing Green White Ritual lately. I've had a lot of chatters who are playing Green White Ritual, and they've all been very high on the deck. I haven't been playing it as much recently, but I'm gonna play the Super Qualifier tomorrow and see if my opinions are pretty high. But I do certainly I kind of think the people who don't like Green White Ritual have not played a game with the deck probably. There could maybe be a Heartless Summoning Fleshraker Retriever combo. Yeah, maybe. I agree. I think if you were gonna play, although the problem is Heartless Summoning kills your tokens. Actually, I've actually barked up this tree a bit. Yes, I'm gonna stream it tomorrow. Ooh, okay. I guess I did think that they had the Unearth, so maybe blocking here was better, but obviously killing the Bowmaster was pretty nice too. Hopefully they don't have two consigns or consign Force of Negation, I guess. You don't Veil of Summer in response to the Bowmaster trigger, so it doesn't get to ping you. I will say I don't think the deck is built well enough for energy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the energy matchup is bad, but I don't think it's super good. I also don't think that there is a way probably for you to make the energy matchup just great. It feels like for the most part you just kind of play normal Magic the Gathering against them. Can you update Green White Ritual Moxfield? I will do that tomorrow before the Super Qualifier. So I have played a land already this turn. Sandbagging this as green mana for the next Veil of Summer does seem pretty good, so probably just play this out, and then we can probably use the K command to dig for a Semblance Anvil to win the game with. Also, look at that graveyard. Force of Negation, consign, counterspell, triple consign, counterspell, force. Although if this is Harbinger, it looks like it's just Oculus. I've been loving 3 Wrathside turn into a control deck. Well, I already think of Green White as a control deck. Wrath Side is interesting. I kind of like the idea. I do think it'd be good in enough matchups. It's obviously weird with Ritual, but maybe just X equals 1 enough for the time. A good suggestion. I'll think about including that tomorrow. Okay, well, there's the Anvil. I'll take a look at the Neoform combo deck after this game. Seems like they have Force, and we can Veil them. Can't you decide out a few rituals? It can sometimes be slow against Boros. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't even think you need to necessarily, although that could be part of your plan. But if you side some out against Boros, then there's kind of like this weirdness where like Ritual is good against Boros, but like you also just can like X equals 1 a lot of the time, so I think it's probably okay. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about winning the match against Demir and beating triple consign, double force, counterspell, snare, bowmasters. Couldn't have beaten everything. Like if they had Harbinger, that would have gotten us. But can I post a list I have so far? Yeah. Let me. I just need to combo kill my opponent really quick. You did Veil them twice? Yeah. I don't know how you're beating those cards without Veils, but it just for a deck like this, being able to beat a hand that draws 3 consigns and multiple force is really important. So I'm just saying, I'm glad that it's possible. Not really saying that it's going to be a super consistent thing. All right, so I want to look at the Bant Neoform deck, and then I want to look at this too. Although I want this is this. Okay, if I was going to Neoform into Oculus, I would just kind of just be playing a value deck. What is the combo here though? Rosy Scurry Oak. Okay, wait. So you Seagate Stormcaller, and then you Neoform that into Rosy and Scurry Oak, and then your opponent casts a Sweeper and you lose. Pretty cool. All right, and this is Goran's take on green-white ritual. I certainly would not include my first ever preview card, Lion Sash. I would certainly play Thraben Charm over Lion Sash. Like it's interesting to me that you've cut all the Thraben Charms when like Breach is now the deck to beat, where Thraben Charm I think is good against Dimir, Energy, and Breach. So I'm still I'm playing 2 or 3 at the main deck. I was gonna go down to 2, but I'm thinking that I just want to still play 3. I wanted to play the 3rd Skyclave also. Yeah, I certainly would not play my first preview card, Lion Sash, in any deck. The flares are interesting. I really want to play Orum's Chance on the board. I think I'm going to be playing those over, like, this kind of stuff. You need to play Collector Roof, I think. I've also been a big Teague fan in general. I like Teague a lot in this deck. It's, like, pretty important for my Eldrazi sideboard plan. Just trying Sash and Endurance, the place to test, I see. Certainly think Sash is not getting there. Oh, whoops. Main deck Endurance does seem fine. Thank you for sharing. So if I can find another Mirror Retriever, we can win on turn 3 here. What do you think about the Neoform deck? For me, I was kind of excited about neoforming my little good cheap creatures into a I was excited about turning those into an Oculus and like a Fair Shell. To me, I wasn't as excited about doing it with like Rosie Scurryoak combo plus this other card. You're just like, you're very all in on a deck that I don't think is very good. Right, turn 3 win. I think return Grinding Station. I guess it doesn't really matter. Ooh, they're a Faithless Looting deck. So my opponent could potentially be playing Emrakul in their deck. They're like I don't know how they're playing Halfling. I was certainly not expecting to see Delighted Halfling Breeding Pool and then all of these cards. Okay, they are playing Gristlebrand. You can still do the fair thing, Neoform Oculus. Well, doing the fair thing is not very good if you're not playing a fair deck. Like, Neoform Oculus is good if your deck is playing, like, if your deck is playing counter spells and removal spells. That's the only time I'm interested in, like, fairly Neoforming into Oculus. You know what I mean? Like, your deck is just not going to be good at playing that fair plan. Okay, so I guess they don't have Emrakul in their deck, which is good. They're probably going to have available stuff post-board. Definitely want to keep in the Kozilek's Command as Graveyard Hate. We're on the draw, so let's keep in the Gemstone Caverns. Let's cut the Beseiju, cut an Expedition map, cut a Rumble again. How's the Eldrazi matchup with Green-White? It's fine. Like, with the main deck, Night Orchid, Phantoms, and a bunch of ways to flicker, I think it's fine. I do think the Teagues are really important. And then Teague is also really good against Belcher, so like I definitely still want to play 2 Teagues. You done playing, Athena?
You're not done playing.
It's like noon. Okay, this is another hand that could win on turn 3, so let's click the keep button. Yeah, I want to play the black-white matchup with green-white ritual. Sounds pretty fun. And the hard way you can't cast Flare with Teague. Yeah. Although, why would you? I guess like Supreme. Yeah. Like, what sweeper are they playing that you want to cast Flare against? Well, let's hope they don't Goryo's Ulamog me. Okay, return brutal. Well, I still have all my permanents in play. BW, thank you for the 34 months. Appreciate you. Okay, Cauldron can break up the Mirror Retriever loop. Let's go Urza's Tower into Anvil and print Anvil, I think. I could also imprint Mirror Retriever and Grinding Station, and I could have 2 anvils in play, which is sometimes good. I think this is not going to be one of those games though. Does this deck turn 3 more often than the Etron deck? Well, I don't know that Eldrazi Etron is capable of winning the game turn 3, so wins by default, baby. Modest, thank you for the raid. Trying to combo off here. Hope you're doing well today. I can't remember. Do I draw a card off Grinding Station first? If I sack this to Grinding Station, yeah, I believe I draw a card off the star before the mill 3 happens. So it should be better to sack this for a green mana so I could potentially cast a Stirrings or a Rumble this turn. And then there's just another Urza's Tower on the top of my library. Now, in these kind of spots, you can kind of desperation mill yourself with Grinding Station. I don't think I'm quite there yet, especially because it just seems very unlikely I'll win if I do that. So let's just go to pass the turn. Any updates to the Golo stack? I was trying to play Warren Power Stone in that deck for a while, and I don't know. I'm almost giving up. Okay, game 3. We play one less Veil. I don't actually know that they have boarded in a lot of like consigns and Thoughtseizes. I think they probably have. Let's just play 2. Tron not capable of having Tron on turn 3. You heard it here. Well, okay, they said, is this capable of turn 3ing more than E-Tron? What I thought you meant was turn 3 winning, not turn 3 having Tron. This deck does have Tron on turn 3 more often than E-Tron, though, because you have Stirrings and Rumbles. I think we're going to keep this and try to Stirrings into second Tron piece. Didn't you just win? No, I lost game 2. I won game 1. Yeah, we did have Icar Wellspring in the earlier builds. I feel pretty good that like Rumble is better and that it hasn't felt like particularly correct in a long time. All right, take the mine. So best draw is Kozilek's Command, I guess. Or I guess actually best draw is Urza's Tower. That's okay with me. I mean, it's not actually so okay, but if I don't draw a land, I kind of have to go like Karn for Haywire Might instead, but that's okay because the Beseiju kind of does dual purpose of potentially dealing with Sphere and potentially being green mana for Haywire Might. Magebane Lizard, however, that one's more of a pain. So let's go minus this Karn because I want to get Tormod's Crypt and I want to get Haywire Might, I think. Let's get the Might first. So happy to see you're playing this. I was just putting together Breach for Paper last night. Came across this pile of cards, dwelled on for a bit. Yeah, I've been trying to like solve this one for a while because I know people really like this deck, and I'm glad that I've got a good build again. I think time will tell. I think exactly how how reasonable this build is compared to some of the older stuff. I could get Expedition Map because I boarded one out. This isn't exactly like a feature, but let's get the Tormod script. And then what I'm going to do is Haywire Might the Damping Sphere, main phase. This way I can play both Mirror Retriever and Tormod Crypt. And then the Mirror Retriever is in play, threatening to get the map back, and I can even just sack it to the grinding station next turn. They keep a card on top. Unsurprisingly, the frog gains flying. Is it Mage Bait non-creature spells? Can't we comboed if we remove Sphere and Karn for Anvil? I must be missing something. Well, there was a Damping Sphere in play. That might be the main thing. The main thing. I also don't have a Semblance Anvil in my in my hand to combo with. But if I do find Semblance Anvil or drawing Urza's Tower lets me go Karn for Anvil and win the game this next turn. Although they now have Agatha's Soul Cauldron. But I can maybe turn that off with the Karn, but then they can maybe Cauldron the Haywire Might. There's certainly a few things going on here. So I drew Semblance Anvil. So we're going to start off by casting Expedition Map, though, and getting the tower. This is a mana positive card here, or, yeah, mana positive, plus be +1 mana, and then obviously plus a lot of mana going forward. The problem here is that my opponent can break up my Mirror Retriever loop with the Cauldron. Is it a neutral? Spin 3 to gain 3? Spin 3 to gain 3. Well, I have 5 total mana available after I map compared to 4 total mana. So it's gain 4 because the power plant also gains 1. Exile my own graveyard. I don't know what the point of that would be. I guess. Thoughts on Karn for Cityscape here. I think I am likely to play Karn. I think I'm more likely to Karn and just plus, or Karn Needle for Cauldron. Yeah, I think Karn. Just cast Karn first, see if they activate the Cauldron. Okay, they don't. So yeah, we'll just Needle. Could actually Needle the Frog if they don't discard in response. Take 3. Yeah, now we can name Psychic Frog. PSY. I always mix up the I always put the Y before the S for some reason. But yeah, they shouldn't be able to kill the Karn very easily. They need like a Bowmaster or something. Did not do very well a free starter today. Unfortunately. I would play the deck again though. Opponent's playing some kind of weird 4-color Goryo's Cauldron deck. Can just put a Cauldron. He can just Cauldron put a counter? No. Well, Karn is turning off the Cauldron. My opponent taking a lot of damage to their own lizard. They're down to 6. Let's see if they choose the right card with the Thoughtseize here. Mirror Retriever I don't think is the right card. I think it would have been Semblance Anvil. Okay, it's a lot of Emperor of Bones though. I'm at 13. Maybe it was fine. Maybe this was the right card. Oh, it was the right card because I get back. This was the right card. Sorry, opponent knows the deck better than me. Okay, let's commit to taking some amount of damage here. If I plus on the Mystic Forge as a blocker, I can block the Magebane Lizard and take 9. Seems like our plan. They just Ulobog me. I have a Tormod script in play. Can't they just double pay? No, that's not how Emperor of Bones works. How do we win if we take 9? Well, we're only taking 9 if they attack with the Magebane Lizard. And this also means they won't attack Karn, and I can just win the game even through the Lizard, I think, if they don't attack Karn. They attack Karn with both. So if I block an Emperor of Bones here, that means my opponent is capable of... That means my opponent is capable of killing both my Forge and my Karn this turn. So I think we're just going to have to take the hit and then hope that we can dig with the Mystic Forge enough before the Magebane Lizard finds us. Okay, Karn. So Karn costs 4, but any artifact we cast off Karn is reduced by 2. So we have exactly enough mana to go Karn, cast Cityscape Leveler here. Is that going to be the best option, though? Is there a Mirror Retriever in Exile for me to grab? But it doesn't look like there is one right now. Actually, weren't just dead if they attacked with the Might too. Yeah, actually. Yeah, Karn for Reservoir seems like it could be pretty good. It's fun. So it just is even against... So, okay, the problem with Reservoir is that with the whole active player, non-active player situation, their Magebane Lizard is going to... Oh, they can also Might me still. Okay. So I think I see the line. Let's see if they do anything in response to this. Okay, they didn't. Haywire Might me still. Yeah, the line is just explosives, I think. Okay, with the Semblance Anvil, the explosives is kind of weird, so we really need to make sure we play this correctly. So I believe what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to grab this Engineered Explosives. We're supposed to go Beseiju, blue mana floating. Okay, it's not X is 4, but only 2 colors are spent on it. We take 3 more damage down to 4. Five for 1. They're paying costs. They activate the Emperor, but they did this after Karn was in play, so they can't activate the Might. It's Reservoir Dog. Yeah, the problem with Reservoir, again, is that the Lizard triggers resolve before the Reservoir triggers do, which means that we will just die if we go for Reservoir Dog. Opponent missing lethal is tough. Yes, that did happen. Tough for them. Can I draw this Kozilek's command and just hold it up? I guess I don't have any way to do that. This Might's going away. I don't need to worry about it. Another grinding station lets me reset the top of my library with itself, effectively. This allows my Mystic Forges to cost 0, which is something. I guess we just cycle this for 0. We're looking for a Mirror Retriever to win the game with, by the way. Scry X draw card. Make X spawns. I thought I could do up to X cards in graveyard. Maybe I misclicked a prompt or something. So mill, one more look at the Mirror Retriever unless we find something else on top, which we could sack a Semblance Anvil. Okay, how many Mirror Retrievers do I have left? So it should be 2, right? Yeah, I think the upside of maybe not dying to Goryo's is high enough that we can just fish a little bit here. Looks like we used bricked again. Also didn't find any more like stars or spheres to replay. Oh, we could have tapped the Forge though. Forgot to tap Forge. Okay, we'll see if we die. Certainly a tough game. Gonna miss something. Playing around Bolt. They rumble over Haywire Mike Goryo's Emperor, so they can take the Emperor of Bones and they can kill me with it. No, they can't. I was thinking that they could activate Emperor of Bones, but they're 1 mana short of doing that. I don't think I have anything in my yard. Yeah, so they can get Frog back and they can hit me for 3 with a Frog, or they can hit me for 2 with an Emperor. So me not tapping the Forge means I beat the Frog at least. Unless, of course, Mirror Retriever was underneath the stirrings. We've certainly been working for it this game. I tell you what. They grab Magebane Lizard, presumably with the intention of putting that into play on my turn. I think that ends up being a pretty good call. Now, that being said, I can just cast the Stirrings and Lizard doesn't do anything because it's not in play. So they maybe should have just put it into play on my upkeep. And if I could just find the Mirror Retriever and win now, unless they have Emrakul, which I could still win with like Anvil. Okay, there's the Retriever. Also, I guess Buried Ruin would have done it too, and also Map for Buried Ruin would have done it. So if they somehow like boarded it in Emrakul, then we'll just get the Aetherflux Reservoir. Which, because I'm looping creatures, is the line, bra, or whatever the new meme is. Yeah, great match. Tough one. They're making me work for it, this league so far. Reservoir Cast would kill me. It wouldn't kill me because it would be the second non-creature spell I've played this turn. That's 2 damage. Nice. Making me work for it. Yeah, I know I could right-click save, but people would tend to concede like faster than auto-yielding matters. I did not see that combo line in this deck. Yeah, that's the main win condition. And it's cool because like Mirror Retriever sometimes lets you churn through your deck, and then Grinding Station also manipulates the top of the library for Forge. There's a lot going on. Is this KCI with extra steps? This is almost certainly less steps than KCI. I think it's less steps than KCI. I think we need to put back the K command. KCI was a lot of steps, okay? Curious whether Archetype doesn't run Opal. That's a good question. So for the longest time, I was trying to play Fleshraker and Opal in this deck, and then I ended up determining I don't think either is optimal. Opal, like you want to really sack your artifacts really aggressively. It is just not very easy to have Metalcraft in this deck. And Fleshraker also turns on your opponent's removal a lot. It's not as good of a mana engine in this deck as Semblance Anvil because you don't get to do your full loops. And you know the removal aspect is a really big deal to him. That sucks. I wanted the land to be there. So yeah, I guess it's good that if you have it in your heart the desire to play artifact-based combo, here's now a artifact combo. I mean, we'll take it, I guess. An artifact combo deck that doesn't play Opal. But you're running Trawler in the side is 5th Mirror. It's just 1 mana per loop. Yeah, I've had Trawler in the past. The fact that it's 1 mana more per loop, it means you need like 2nd Anvil to actually combo off with it. So I've since cut it, but it is something we've played. They play out Besage You. I guess I Didn't want to have Tron anyways. But yeah, can we still play Opal? I mean, Opal will be good in some games. A lot of times it's in games like this where like you're stumbling. But I haven't been the most impressed with Opal here. You can play it if you want to. I don't. I think you maybe played it over Expedition map, but it's, I don't know. I had a hard time with it. I think I'm actually going to Rumble here because if I can find mine or Power Plant, then I can Tron next turn, and that's going to give me my highest chance to win. And I felt like I was, or sorry, Tower or Power Plant, and here's both. We seem pretty likely to hit with after our like bricking on the stirrings. Oh my gosh, I played the wrong Tron piece. Sorry, I totally thought these were mines for some reason. That's bad.
How's it going?
Bad. Yeah.
Well, what time is that super qualifier tomorrow?
9 a.m.
Okay, you know the party's at 3 p.m., right?
It's at 3 p.m.?
Yes.
I thought it was later in the day. How long is it going for?
I don't know.
Okay, I might not stream the qualifier tomorrow.
They are very punctual people.
Yeah, I know. I knew I had a party tomorrow. I didn't know it was at 3 p.m. And for them, 3 p.m. is actual 3 p.m. No, I drew the mine. I'm gonna make another green white ritualist. Well, I was gonna play it in the super qualifier tomorrow, and now it's starting to seem like I won't be able to do that. But okay, so the super qualifier is probably 9 rounds, 11 rounds total. Optimistically, 55 minutes. Say 52. I don't know. There's just no way. Yeah, plenty of time for an O2 drop. Okay, I'll make sure to have the list on the Mox field by tomorrow, even if I don't stream it. Wait, they're attacking? They're not digging for Court of Calling? Let's freaking go. Am I missing something? Feels good because we punted this game. We could have won last turn if I grabbed the tower instead of third power plant. But it looks like we're going to win anyways. Probably. We're not deterministic here, but it's pretty tough to brick. They've also already played a Beseiju. I don't know if they're playing 2 Beseiju main right now. A lot of times they do. Set up a VPN like the Olive Garden guy. Yeah. I could maybe... I don't know. I'll try to make it work, but it seems like I'll be unable to, probably. So weird, like they attacked with all these creatures, and they potentially could have won with the Court of Calling, although it wouldn't have been super easy. Who's coming over? No, we have to go somewhere. If we were hosting, I would stream here while the party happened in the background. All right, I feel like I'm about to, now that my opponent said, "Hey, it's a pleasure, GLHF." I think I'm gonna get second Beseiju right now. Like for sure, this is a Beseiju. Yep. I think that's the wrong target though, or at least like for me, it's the wrong target. Like I'm happy it was this one. Don't have any mirror retrievers yet. I don't have the luxury of K commanding without Tron. Bunk with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. It does let me second Semblance Anvil. All right, let's just go ahead and forge first. So I think I want to keep the second green mana available, so we'll just play the land here. And then should be correct to play second anvil for 1 mana. Imprint the star, cast the Mystic Forge. We're gonna need a grinding station to like start manipulating the top of our library. There we go. There's another one. Each extra grinding station, of course, can just mill itself. And then we also want to be dumping Mirror Retriever in the yard, potentially. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and sack 1 grinding station to itself here before we stirrings. The first Mirror Retriever we can mill over. The second one we're going to need to find. Wasn't it better to Cycle Star and imprint the Forge? No, because then future forges are just 0 mana that like clear the top of your library. And so is the current one that you're casting. Okay, so there's a Mirror Retriever. This one we definitely sack. Is Forge the best thing to get? I think Forge is the best thing to get because it basically clears 2 cards. They're looking for Endurance. Gonna be tough to beat the Endurance and the Boseiju here. Also, how I call that like GLHF is I found second Boseiju because they like stop thinking about digging for Boseiju, then they look at my username. Have I gone over why this isn't an Opal deck? Yeah, I mean Opal will be good sometimes, but like for the most part in the early game, you're just like sacking your stars and spheres, and so it's just kind of tough to have like a good Opal draw. It can be okay for sure, but I just had it in the deck and I just felt pretty good about cutting it. Like, you have Tron and Semblance Anvil as your mana engine. I haven't really missed Mox Opal. Like, I spent so long, like, just trying to, like, force it in the deck, and only to kind of realize that, yeah, it's just fine to say no. Okay, so here's our second Mirror Retriever. So let's start... I guess I start comboing by milling myself first, just because this is not a card I want to draw. So getting the free mill is pretty good. Karn also not very helpful. Yeah, I guess there's really not much reason to like not just like wait to kill them until after I see a good card on top of my library, right? Isn't this GG? I'm playing around Endurance that they were digging for off the Yawgmoth. So like, yes, we're gonna start the loop, but I think we just wait till we see an artifact on top. And I do think it's nice that this isn't an Opal deck. I think if this does end up being correct for there to be no Mox Opal, this is a pretty budget-friendly, no Mox Opal artifact-based combo deck that you can compete with. Grinding Station, I think, is the X Grinding Station, K-Command, Karn are expensive, but certainly relative to other decks, it's not so bad. No Urza Saga either. I can't imagine they're holding Endurance if they found it earlier. I mean, I think it's unlikely, but it's also like it just costs us nothing to play around it there, besides a little bit of time. So I'm down to not lose to it. Is this loop clock intensive or not too bad? I don't think it's so bad. Yeah, it's not great, but it isn't like worse than like regular Breach combo if you learn your sequencing and play quickly. Which I definitely recommend doing for the sanity of your opponents. Opponent big brain, sandbagging Endurance to target themselves with upkeep. Yeah, this is also something they can do. Does it make more sense for opponent to Endurance themselves or Endurance me? So, okay, so one thing is, we can see if they have the Endurance in their hand, right? We can see if they have the Endurance in their hand if we mill their deck and there's no Endurance. And then I don't think it'd be super possible here, but you would have to like cast a Karn. Which I don't know if we could do there. If we had Opals in the deck. Is Aetherflux the only way you beat an Emrakul or another Shuffler? You can Stonebrain it, Tormod script it. Like you can have the loop and then Karn for one of those, but the answer is you Karn for something to deal with it. I'm gonna mulligan this hand, I think. What's the altar for? So if it's a Karn target that loops Mirror Retriever. So you can do the Mirror Retriever loop with that instead. If you get your grinding stations needled, that comes up a lot actually. Unrelated account name. Thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate you. Fulminator Mage, Beseiju, Court of Calling, Mortuary. Too bad they can't take the Court of Calling. They may not have double black for the Fulminator, though they do take it here. So this is kind of fun because they may not play around Natural Tron and they may wait on the Fulminator because of the map, and then I just get to cast something. That might not happen. They may also have Agatha's Soul Cauldron to go with the Fulminator Mage, and we'll cry as we go to the next game. I did build a 5 this game, or 6. They do go ahead and just use the damn thing. No Cauldron? Hopefully no Cauldron. I feel like they would have cast the Cauldron with the Halfling at least. Rumble into Halfling, Young Wolf, Endurance, or Verdant Catacombs. I don't think I have the Curse Totem right now. I think I'm just on Needle. I don't think Yogg is quite tier 1, despite it being pretty popular, but if it becomes tier 1, then probably play the Totem in this deck. How does Yogg win? They have a combo where they get a Blood Artist type effect in play. It says every time a creature dies, you drain for 1 life, and they have infinite creatures die, or like 40, 50 creatures die. Urza's mine. Urza's mine. There's the big artifact that gives you hexproof for some hate protection. Witchbane Orb? Not the biggest Witchbane Orb fan. Also, I guess hexproof is okay. Shroud is a problem, or protection like the ring gave you. Green Sun for 1 for a Young Wolf. So Green Sun for 1, I guess, would imply that they have no Collector Oof in their deck. Mind Tower. And that they're going to go for Yogg next turn is certainly the implication. So we have Tron. My opponent's hand is Endurance. I think that they have Cord or Yawgmoth as their last card. I don't think it really makes that much sense for them to get Young Wolf and not like a disenchant creature. So I think what I'm going to do this turn is Karn, Needle, and play Mirror Retriever. How do you feel about the Rock? It's a deck that doesn't really jive with me. I don't know. I don't really click with it. I don't like the deck very much, but I do acknowledge that it is a deck that's capable of putting up results and capable of winning. Like maybe more so I should say that I like the interactive package the deck has, but I think the threats suck. And I just wish the threats were better somehow, but maybe I've, even misevaluated that. Definitely seems fine. And, people also really like the deck, and I think it's cool. I want y'all to keep liking it. We've definitely been playing through a lot of hates. Multiple Consigns, multiple Force Negations, Fulminator Mage. Got that Goryo's deck was a fever dream, I feel. I'm playing 1 Totem in my energy board. Did so much lifting in my Yogg match. Yeah. Still debating if it's worth versus Breach. 2 mana Pithy Needle for Imri, unless I'm missing something. I guess it also hits Might. Yeah, Might is pretty good against them. Or against you. It's probably fine. Is there a limit to how much damage Yaw Combo can do? Yeah, it's usually they can do 1 damage for each card in their deck. Although I guess with Endurance that it's more than that. You can Endurance and shuffle back in, so probably several hundred. Okay, so they did have the Accord of Calling, and so they can minus and kill my Karn. So right now their hand is just an Endurance, and there's a Needle on Yawgmoth in play. So we got to feel pretty good about this spot with Tron in play, Mystic Forge, Grinding Station in hand, Semblance Anvil away from, probably winning. Oh, but they can woodland a Tron land here. Miss this, feeling less good now. If my Mirror Retriever dies, I can get back an Expedition map, and so I can kill my own Mirror Retriever with Grinding Station. They should probably go after mine, yeah. I think I might just top deck the thirders as mine here. So let's attack the Grist, which kind of puts them in this weird spot where they really want to keep me off the Expedition map. But they probably don't want to just lose their Grist either. And bad news for them is I just have the sack outlet. Milling them could be better. It's worse against Cauldron, of course, if I mill over. Although I'm kind of not beating Cauldron anyways, and I could just mill over their Blood Artist, and then they just can't combo. So they rumble into not this Force of Vigor, because they can't put that into their hand. You can get a Misty Rainforest to swamp our Halfling. Got to imagine it'll be Misty Rainforest for the Surveil. I just missed we milled our third mine. If we had milled all the mines, that could have been pretty bad. Okay, I guess they don't have... the second Surveil lands in the yard. Taking 3. They still do have that Endurance, which we'll have to think about when we're comboing. Although, good news, bad news, we're probably not comboing this turn. Alright, last Urza is mine. Mystic Forge down. Just kind of set up to probably win next turn. Alright. Just thinking about playing the Sphere. Doesn't seem like I should play the Sphere here, because if everything goes well with Anvil, the Sphere will just be 0 mana next turn. And if it doesn't go well with... Like, if they kill my Mystic Forge, I want to imprint on the Sphere and not the Forge for my hand. They top deck to Blood Artist. They still have Endurance available, hitting me for 4. So we're gonna have to play through the Endurance, but this shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the most difficult, especially because like they probably just target my Mirror Retrievers instead of themselves. Okay, so we're gonna go Anvil, and then we're gonna imprint the Forge. I'm going to play Chromatic Sphere, and I'm going to sack it for the Ancient Stirrings. Nice. Okay, so this is good, obviously, to find this so quickly. We just have another artifact on top. So let's see if they Endurance now. Or if their plan is to Endurance themselves. And we are indeed going to make them pick. I forgot about the Blood Artist. Dude, Blood Artist breaks... Top deck Blood Artist is so cool here, but... okay, so... What do we do now? I guess 1, let's see if they Endurance, but they probably won't because of the Blood Artist. Yeah, the problem with finding command is that it's going to be command answers the Blood Artist, but I don't know if we're going to have enough mana to cast Karn to beat the Endurance. I guess the answer probably is to find Karn, try to find Karn, and then cast Reservoir. Do I still have my land drop for turn, actually? Cast Semblance Anvil. Yeah, looks like I still have my land for turn. Okay, so yeah, the plan now is going to be find a Karn and cast an Aetherflux Reservoir, which probably will just win the game even if they endurance. Although here's the Kozilek's command. So do I want to mill over this Kozilek's command? Right now I could cast it X equals 4, which is enough to cast Karn, but not enough to cast Reservoir after. Let me just go ahead and mill over. No, actually, let's draw it off the star, just in case. Now, it is kind of risky to be milling over this, because like if there just happens to be 2 more Karns under this forest, it's kind of bad. It's just not that likely that happens. Although I think now I'm going to Stirrings. A kind of a vibe-based Stirrings. And this isn't super ideal either. I'll answer your question about what the best Sultai deck is after I finish this incredibly complicated turn. Thank you. Because I was hoping to like at least find a Tron piece. I guess I'm just gonna take a Sphere. So there's another Semblance Anvil, which we're gonna cast for. Okay, we're gonna cast that for 1 mana, but this commits us to drawing a land or imprinting a Karn to Anvil for us to be able to cast a Karn. But I think we can reliably enough to still draw land this game. There's a land. I would prefer for it to be a Tron land. I guess what I'll do is I'll sack map and get another tower. Okay, there's the card. Can we exile Blood Artist? The problem is we know their last card is Endurance. If their last card wasn't Endurance, we just exile the Blood Artist and go off. But our opponent's definitely been making us work for it. So we sack one of the grinding stations. Also, if we don't win this turn, like we still have Needle and Yawgmoth, and we're at a lot of life points, but we're gonna try to win this turn still. I guess I missed an untap. Yeah, sorry, I actually missed an untap, dang. Because then I could have sacked an Anvil to keep going. I'm not even sure if that's like correct. Yeah, we can sack Needle, but it just we can't really lose if we don't sack the Needle. So I think I'm good not going to. There was maybe a better way to do this. Obviously, a very complicated turn. Best Sultai deck. I don't know that I can think of any good Sultai decks at the moment, unfortunately. You may have to settle for Golgari or Dimir. Sorry to say. Green Sun for 3. Sultai lands. I just played it. Wait, Endurance. Wait, did they Endurance me? Oh, Sultai Nautilus Nadu. Yeah, I'm still thinking of that as a Simic deck. Okay, wait, I'm sure they left already after I didn't answer their question about Sultai in the middle of that turn. But here is my recommended Sultai deck for you. 0% chance they're still in the chat. But do you miss Fungus at all? Not in that deck, no. I did like the Fungus in the Was I supposed to imprint anything? I like Fungus in the Titan deck we played today. But I wasn't missing it in the in that deck, no. Well, I think we're about to be 3-0. Let's get a trophy prediction going. People just really want you to say Sultai Reclamation. Yeah, whenever someone asks about a Sultai deck, they just want Dimir Frog, but to have green mana somehow. But you could just play Dimir Frog and with no green mana, and it's the same vibe you're going for probably. Deck bust. I think this deck's pretty good. I think this deck is like just like the Tron lands make you like so much better against counter spells and so much better against hate than a lot of these like artifact based combo decks do. And you get to play Veil also, which is like I don't know if like Sultai mid range. Like I don't know if you would consider like the Uro decks back in the day. Yeah, I guess they were mid rangey kind of technically. But that was probably the last time Sultai was like good. Sultai mid range was good. So I like having Gemstone Caverns on the draw. This hand is good if we draw Expedition Map, Urza's Mine, Ancient Stirrings, Malevolent Rumble, would take a Mystic Forge, would take a Semblance Anvil. I think I'm going to try this one. I think this is enough good top decks, but also like Stars and Spheres are fine draws. This hand doesn't mull even in a million years. Okay, I do think this one was pretty borderline, but I think this may be just your either your love of Gemstone Caverns is blinding you, or your lack of faith in this deck's ability to mulligan well. Definitely want to sack the Sphere before we play the Retriever, so we can buy that back at least. Conduit Goblin. When Conduit Goblin enters, you get 2 energy. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1 energy. If you do, another creature gets +1/+0 and gains haste. Well, they did target the wrong creature, as they have now missed 2 damage. But this sure is an MH3 Boros energy card. Red permanent for a Johnny. Oh, it's another creature? Oh, this card sucks. Honestly, I guess if it could target itself, it would be good. But it can't, so it sucks. I don't know. They did not misplay, though. They know what they're doing. I think someone's trophy to the deck said the Goblin was bad. Makes sense. Checks out. I guess I'm not trading with the cat anymore. Should block the Conduit Goblin. Yeah, I don't usually think about rarities for cards so much, but it does make sense. Okay, we need an Anvil, or we need a Mine, or a Tutor for these cards. Let's go. Life total ain't the highest, though. Do I explosives on 0? That does flip the Ajani. Yeah, get the ring. Haha. It used to be so easy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No energy for this card. I don't hate EE on 2. I can't EE on 2. I can with the Sphere, but no, I can't because the Sphere is -1 mana. Leveler wouldn't be too bad. Well, I couldn't cast the Leveler this turn, so probably not too good. Honestly, like Karn, Sphere, Retriever plus on the Sphere sounds kind of nice. Because then I get 2 blockers. Could double block the Conduit Goblin. I guess the second blocker doesn't do too much. My dead on board could just get Anvil, get Alter next turn. Well, I think I should probably have a blocker in play. Might, so you can block and get life back. Yeah, might could be good. Yeah, I just think that we should be using. I agree. I think we should be using this Karn to just stay as alive as possible. I don't think the 2 life on might is going to end up mattering that much. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so we're going to be blocking this. So we're likely going to be taking 6 down to 7. Honestly, I feel like I just want to maybe Needle Akani Nikadal Avenger. Yeah, that's got to be it. Can't believe that this seems like just definitely the best line, and it took me a while to get there, but I think the main way we die is they flip the Ajani. I cannot. Sorry, I named the wrong side. Streaming too long. The needle line is good though. Maybe they won't notice. Wait, that's the right side? Oh, it is. Okay. I swear I was in the other dimension. I saw this and I read Johnny the Coddle and it was too small for me to read. I'm like, oh no, I named the wrong one. Okay, good. Great, we found the right line. Awesome. There's bombardment. That's not awesome. My dad? 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 plus, yeah, plus the Ocelot Pride tokens. Should I have named bombardment instead? I don't know about that. Close. Because it's like if we name bombardment, they can have discharge or flage or bolt. That just flips the Ajani to kill me. Maybe just run it back on the play. Although I could cut the Gemstone Caverns or something. Not really anything I want. Is Conduit Goblin a good card? No, I don't think so. I like being down here too because I can keep an eye on them, but they are having a lot of fun. I'm sure we should. Yeah, I disagree that I'm sure because like Needle on bombardment plays around just bombardment, where Needle on a Johnny plays around discharge, bolt, second Ajani, flage, which I would be dead to otherwise. So it seems like almost not that every build plays bolt, but it seems like just mathematically we're beating a lot more cards if we name the flip side of Ajani compared to naming bombardment. Yeah, shout out to the One Ring. I was gonna comment get EE and save Needle from bombardment. Yeah, EE on 0 was interesting. We might not have been dead, but we do just natural flip the Johnny, so we were dead to some other things. I'm amazed by the fact that Boros is still as hard to beat. I don't know. You beat it. And they'll beat you sometimes. I think understand it's just higher risk, high reward. Higher risk, higher reward. I don't know if I don't think that's how I would describe naming bombardment versus naming a Johnny. Cause it's like it's not like being dead to flage or being dead to second to Johnny or being dead to discharge is different from being dead to bombardment, right? I think you just mathematically play around more cards than less. King with the 9 months, thank you, welcome back. They may have also had some of those cards in their hand too. All right, let's keep this on the play. This is very classic. Mere Retriever versus Ragavan. Although Stirrings does look kind of nice. Let's play the Retriever. We can still just K return the Ragavan next turn. We don't need to play this super fast. They're gonna exile a power plant here. Oh, Urza's mine. My psychic powers could see Urza's, but they couldn't see mine. Don't hate that one. Pretty sure it was almost 100% want to save the needle from bombardment and use something else for the present board. We're dead to either creatures of bombardment in hand either. Anyways. Tell me, you can't say you can't say it was 100% something else, but not say what it is. If it's 100%, you can tell me what it is. If it's not 100%, you can, you can say it was, 100%. It was something else. I feel pretty good about the needle line. Yikers. $96.3. There we go. Mine tower. Not the right ones. So I'm going to take second Kozilek's command, or am I going to take, third Kozilek's command? Or am I going to take another tower and then... I think I'm going to take another tower. I think this sets me up the best to win the next turn. I don't think the third K command is going to be as good. I mean, it would be fine. Well, they don't jump the Guide of Souls. So I think I exile a cat. So we could go off if we find just Mystic Forge now. Never mind. Okay, so we need a power plant to even think about anything else here, and we don't find it. Boros good. All right, get a 4-1 prediction going. I think I'm gonna rebuild Green-White Birthing Ritual on stream 2 today, as a heads up, because it does not seem like I'm gonna actually be able to play tomorrow after all. But I want to give you all the update. I hate that Grist is the only one that doesn't help himself to flip. Yeah. It'd be nice if there's an artifacted tutor that could board wipe same turn. I mean, there are cards like that, but they cost 8 or 9 mana. Either Perilous Vault or Oblivion Stone. I can't believe I forgot the name of Oblivion Stone for a second. Okay, so I have to put a card on the bottom, and I'm going to Gemstone Caverns also. So I think I bottom the Anvil. And then we Gemstone Caverns exile Mirror Retriever because we have Karn in our hand, and I don't actually have a Mirror Retriever in the Karn board at the moment, so it can get that. Okay, on the draw against Titan, they've also mulled a 6. We definitely have a kind of not the best draw. Though Karn is good against Titan. That would be a turn 3 Karn. Would be really nice if we could Haywire Might next turn. Have I decided on mono white or blue white dispatch list? I actually think I like mono white more. The mana base has been really nice, and Fiddlebender, Stoneforge Mystic, and Genius Smith just make you like actually the deck just feels actually just very resilient to hate cards, which I don't feel like the deck is very resistant to otherwise. Oh shit! I also can't K command. On account of the whole Caverns not tapping for colorless situation. Oops. A lot of mistakes made this league. Definitely feeling a little tired. So I don't have the Chalice of the Void today, so which is fine because I don't think I'm necessarily Chalice Unvoiding anyways. I think we probably with our mulligan, I think we just kind of have to hope they are flooded here. Built any Asmo, Unearth, Opal Pile since the unban? I don't think I've had Unearth in any of those shells, but I have built a few decks like that, yeah. Maybe the Graveyard Hate on Kozilek's command ends up being relevant here if they go for Lumra. I don't really know why they would go for Lumra. I guess they could go for Titan into Lumra or something. They could go Lumra first if they have Titan also. Wishful thinking. I mean, they still actually might go for it, right? Because they're setting up to like mirror pool the Lumra. The problem is they can't exile all the Lotus Fields too. They have something else in their hand as the last card. So they get Aftermath Analyst. So I can get rid of both Lotus Fields. This would allow my opponent to get back Saga, Mirror Pool, Forest, Saga, Gruul Turf. Not ideal. If I get rid of the Mirror Pool, my opponent, I think, is stuck here, right? They do have the Shifting Woodland. The Shifting Woodland was played this turn, so copying anything doesn't really do anything. In fact, if I let the Lotus Fields come back, they do have to sacrifice 4 of them. Yeah, they could activate Woodland on Analyst, actually. So I guess I need to exile the Analyst. Yeah, just exile Analyst and the Depths. And then what? Am I going to make 2 spawns? If I make 2 spawns, Ensnaring Bridge is actually pretty live. Yeah, Ensnaring Bridge is pretty good here, actually, if I do that. Okay, so I'm going to make spawns, and I'm going to exile Analyst, and I'm going to exile Mirror Pool. I think the Woodlands still play out everything, unfortunately. That's just not true. I don't believe that they can do anything else here. Like they can Woodland activate a Titan, but Woodland has Summoning Sickness. They should have copied Mirror Pool with the 6 floating, I see. They also have to sack 4 of their 8 lands, so that's not the biggest problem. Fun game. The rare fun game against Titan. My opponent does have a Summoner's Pact trigger to pay for. I can't go coding a land, unfortunately. But I can Haywire Might the Urza Saga and win. Huh. Opponent not have Battlements to haste. Well, they went for a different line that I disrupted with Kozilek's command. I can scarcely believe we won that one. They could have won for sure. Lay, thank you for the raid. Hope you all are doing well today. Welcome everybody. So maybe I'll board in Stonebrain. And I'll just leave it for a card target. So Woodlands was offline. The line I saw was copy the Graveyard Titan to get battlements and haste your Titans. The Woodlands was played this turn, so it had Summoning Sickness. That was the problem. Wait, I'm confused. They conceded. Do you have a bridge or something, or just tuned in? They had a Summoner's Pact trigger, and I Haywire reminded their 4th mana, which was an Urza Saga, so they couldn't pay and they lost. I think I have to mulligan this one. They 100% could have won. Yeah, they could have won that game for sure. I mean, I was also F6'd, right? So, like, I was intentionally F6 to look like I didn't have it, so they were just kind of going for the standard loop without thinking so much. Let's go to 5. Okay, so on 5, we're keeping Power Plant, Star, Stirrings, Map. I think it has to be second Star, because otherwise we don't have the second green for the Rumble. Might get Besaged. Still might get Besaged. Am I playing any paper events in the near future? My next one's probably the Hunter Burton, and then I'm going to try to go to the Denver Spotlight Series event. Thank you, Vank, for the 16 months. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Appreciate you. Have they announced the format for Denver? I'm pretty sure I read that Denver was modern. Maybe I'm misremembering. I do think this is why it's a fair point that Titan avoids most potential bans. Yeah, it's busted, but it is hard to pilot. No meme is hard to pilot. I mean, yeah, I think anybody who disagrees that Titan's hard to pilot, and that's part of the reason why it doesn't get bans is... Yeah, I agree. Denver's limited? Ah, dang it. Indy is modern. Okay, I guess Indianapolis is... When is Indianapolis? I would much rather go to Denver. But if it's modern, we'll go to the modern one.
Indianapolis is in Indiana.
Is that a question or?
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, yes, it's in Indiana. Yeah, so I'm sorry. You know, this it's been a crazy stream today. I'll tell you about it. And they haven't announced Minneapolis. Denver is better than Indy. Modern's better than Sealed. Yeah, I guess just look at this. It'd be nice if it just had the format on it. Because they haven't said for Minneapolis. Denver is in April 11th. Indianapolis is May 30th. It's kind of a better time for me too than this. Yeah, we did win game 1. I know a lot of people left with them casting 2 Titans. They didn't play around the Kozilek's command, and we were able to disrupt them. This hand might win on turn 3, so let's keep. I'm not saying Titans are hard to pilot. There are a lot of complex lines, and it's a deck construction requires a lot of knowledge on the deck, the meta. I feel like how hard it is way overhyped. Maybe. I mean, it is definitely one of the hardest decks. I think it's also like it's a difficult deck to learn all the formula charts for, but you are right that it is kind of a formula chart deck, but maybe that's every modern deck, maybe that's every Magic deck. So what we need to win is we need another artifact to imprint to Anvil. We need one more land to cast a Rumble. We don't actually need another land because the Rumble gives us the extra spawn mana. And we need another Mirror Retriever. So we don't find the Mirror Retriever. We do find Urza's Mine. It might be better to take Grinding Station instead of Urza's Mine because Grinding Station could let me win the game next turn because I need an artifact to imprint to the anvil still. And also, like, relying on Tron isn't necessarily great against the Boseiju deck, but I think I'm just going to go for the mine, and we can maybe try to rumble into a card. We're on the play also. Although, also, if we're baiting Boseiju on Tron lands, that is also kind of fine. If that's, like, their next turn or this turn, potentially. It is usually not right to get coding with Karn. If I could tutor up another Mir Retriever, it would probably also not be right here. I do think coding is better than Stone Brain in the spot, because they can combo off without their Titans. Yeah, and then also like the coding is still just like any artifact, so we have the option to draw Mir Retriever or rumble into Mir Retriever to win the game still next turn. So it's kind of weird, like any artifact is just generically good, and then the coding is maybe just going to win the game. So we do want to think about another copy of Boseiju. In fact, we could even needle Boseiju. Let me Stirrings first. There's the extra Mir Retriever. So we can go for the win. The win doesn't play around another copy of Boseiju. I think we'll play around the Boseiju for a turn. Yeah, I didn't see a way to like tutor up the needle and like get them with it. You think Baelmerk is good enough to see modern play outside of taxes? I've played a lot of Baelmerk decks, yeah. It is definitely a playable card. I don't really see why I would like really need Tron next turn. Alright, they only have 2 cards in their hand also. That's gonna be pretty tough for them to win this, especially because I could needle a third Boseiju potentially. I bet I have 10 decks with Baelmerk and Modern. I have some in Standard too, so it's going to be a little... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Baelmerk decks. If I send you this link, does it send you all the Baelmerk decks? I can't send the link that long, okay. An embarrassment of riches here. Might as well play around third Boseiju, I think. Well, I guess the problem with playing around third Boseiju is that we could get got by Endurance. I don't think they're going to have an Endurance here. Yeah, I don't know if we count the rat deck. The rat deck was fun. No one wanted me to have fun. They never do. We can get the coding also if they do have something. Coding will slow them down for another turn. Am I sure I named the right Boseiju? I did double check. I know I got confused about that with a Johnny earlier. No, come on, y'all. Boseiju who endures, Boseiju who endures. Please don't do it to me today. After the Ajani incident.
Loves it out there.
I know, they're going crazy today.
Yeah. Well, Lucy's inside because she keeps getting her pause money.
I keep having to wash them.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't like that I'm washing them. She doesn't understand. She's getting them dirty. I have to wash them.
My opponent isn't conceding. I don't know if they... Sometimes people don't realize that I'm milling them when I do this. And they realize it when they... It's been like 3 or 4 times I've played this deck, and my opponents will just F6. And then they'll be like, wait, how did I die? But they figured it out. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, we're not done today. Did lose to Boros, but deck looked pretty good overall. Fought through a lot of hate. You can play Semblance Anvil still in Modern. One day we'll Leyline Axe again. Okay, but I don't think I'm going to be able to actually stream the Super Qualifier tomorrow because the party I'm attending